In the mid 20th century, American factories were renowned across the globe. Industries like steel, automobiles, machinery, and textiles provided employment to millions of Americans. Labor unions secured better wages, working hours, and benefits for workers. The American dream was alive, especially in cities like Detroit, famously known as Motor City, where nearly every household had someone working in a factory. But things began to change after the 1970s. Nations like Japan and Germany started challenging the US in the industrial sector. Under globalization, companies sought cheaper labor, moving factories to China, Mexico, India, and other low cost countries. Simultaneously, automation began replacing human labor, wiping out millions of jobs. Government policies like NAFTA, North American Free Trade Agreement, prioritized free trade over protecting domestic industries. Political decisions favored big corporations while ignoring the plight of the average worker. Today, cities like Detroit and Cleveland, now called the Rust Belt, are grappling with unemployment, poverty, and despair. This is not just a story of economic decline, it's a tale of lost human effort, broken hopes, and shattered dreams. The pressing question is, can America bring back its industries and jobs, or has it all become a part of history? The early 20th century marked a golden era of industrial revolution in the US. From 1900 to 1950, the country rapidly transitioned from an agrarian society to an industrial superpower. Factories, steel mills, and automobile plants sprang up across cities like Detroit, Chicago, Pittsburgh, and Cleveland, employing millions of workers. The heart of the US economy beat inside its factories. Companies like Ford, General Motors, Chrysler, Boeing, and US Steel were global industrial giants. The automobile industry blazed new trails. Ford's assembly line revolutionized mass production, making cars affordable for the average person. Alongside automobiles, machinery, textiles, chemicals, and other sectors also reached new heights. This period was not only significant for production but also laid the foundation of America's middle class. Labor unions fought for workers' rights, securing better wages, safer working conditions, and social security benefits. During this time, an ordinary worker could afford a home, provide education for their children, and live with dignity. The American dream seemed within reach. This era became not just a symbol of economic growth, but also a cornerstone of American identity. The 1970s brought tough times for American industry. Post World War II, Europe and Japan had rebuilt their economies and were ready to compete globally. Japanese cars were cheaper, more fuel efficient, and of higher quality, posing a serious threat to US auto manufacturers. Germany's engineering, Korea's electronics, and products from other nations began gaining market share. This was also the era when globalization took root. The idea that the world was now one big marketplace meant that companies could choose to manufacture anywhere. Capitalism prioritized cheap labor and low production costs, prompting US firms to move factories overseas. In countries like China, Mexico, and India, wages were low and regulations were lax. As a result, millions of jobs disappeared in America. The factories that were once lifelines of American cities either shut down or turned into abandoned ruins. Local communities were devastated and the middle class began to crumble. While corporations profited, ordinary Americans faced economic uncertainty and joblessness. This was the true cost of globalization. Another major but less visible reason behind industrial decline was automation and advancing technology. As computers, robots, and smart machines entered factories, machines began replacing human workers. One machine, operated by a single technician, could now do the job of 10 people. During the 1980s and 1990s, this trend surged. Automation aimed to boost production, reduce costs, and eliminate human error. On the surface, it was progress, but its social impact was devastating. Millions of long-time factory workers were suddenly deemed obsolete. Those without technical skills or higher education had no place in this new industrial order. The most affected regions were in the manufacturing belt, now the Rust Belt. Cities whose culture, traditions, and daily lives were built around industry lost not just jobs, but their entire way of life. It's true that technology pushed the world forward, but in America, working class people paid the price. And the question still remains, is the benefit of technology reaching everyone or just a select few? Global competition and technology were not the only reasons behind the downfall. Government policies and political decisions also played a major role. In the 1990s, the US signed several major trade agreements, most notably NAFTA. This agreement removed trade barriers between the US, Canada, and Mexico. Its goal was economic cooperation, but it had deeply negative effects on American manufacturing. After NAFTA, many large American companies moved their factories to Mexico, where labor was cheaper and regulations were looser. Thousands of US factories closed down and millions lost their jobs. During this time, politicians either ignored the looming risks or deliberately downplayed them, as corporate donors, lobbyists, and financial interests backed these policies. Moreover, the government failed to invest in modernizing the industrial sector, retraining the workforce, or reviving declining regions. Wall Street flourished, but Main Street crumbled. This was the moment when the trust between the government and the people started to fracture. Americans felt abandoned, believing their hard work was undervalued and their leaders had betrayed them. When American factories shut down, it wasn't just jobs that disappeared. It was entire cities and communities. The Rust Belt cities like Detroit, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, and Buffalo were once thriving industrial hubs where nearly every family had a factory worker. These cities had strong middle classes, good schools, quality healthcare, and a sense of dignity. But when industries left, these areas fell into economic, social, and cultural decay. People lost their livelihoods, were forced to sell their homes, and younger generations migrated to other cities for better prospects. Those left behind lived amid poverty, drug addiction, crime, and broken dreams. Today, these regions show the scars of decline: abandoned factories, shuttered stores, and empty streets. Schools suffer from underfunding, healthcare is lacking, and social unrest is rising. This wasn't just an economic collapse, but the death of an entire culture and way of life. The cost was paid by the millions of hardworking people who gave their lives to the industry, only to be left behind by both corporations and the state. This story reminds us that an economy isn't just numbers, it's made up of real human lives. The rise and fall of American manufacturing is not just a tale of economics or policy, it's a story of people, families, generations, and their dreams and sacrifices. There are important lessons to learn from this journey. First, a strong economy isn't just measured by profits or production, but by how much everyday citizens share in that progress. When workers are ignored and communities are sacrificed, growth becomes shallow and fragile. Second, we cannot stop technology or globalization, but we can manage their impact. If governments take timely actions, provide worker training, and protect vulnerable communities, disasters can be prevented. Finally, policymakers must prioritize public welfare over corporate interests. Until trust is rebuilt with the average citizen, no development can be truly sustainable. This is the time to learn from past mistakes and build a system where growth benefits everyone, not just a privileged few. Otherwise, decline will return under a new name and face. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, and don't forget to press the bell icon so you never miss our latest content. Thank you.